It is clearly on two grounds. One, we have to do a transition from fossil fuel to renewable energy. Many of the refineries that Government of India's public sector undertakings have will have to have change of plant and machinery so that they are able to update the machine capacities and be ready also for blending of fuel, because we are bringing in biofuels, we are also bringing in ethanol, so the refineries will have to be updated in their technologies. Second, we also want to make sure our strategic reserves are all filled up adequately. So this is specifically and openly being given to Ministry of Petroleum, Natural Gas with these objectives. So there's no, in fact I'd like to say, in the last 3-4 years, the budgets don't show anything for the reasons which are not mentioned, meaning they show for what purpose they are, and that is the purpose. There is no below the carpet pushing of agenda or keeping something secretive. So the budget states it and spends it on those grounds. But I'll ask Somanathan to give us the further details.
So just to elaborate, the 35,000 crores, as Madam has mentioned, has the primary purpose of enabling the public sector oil company refineries to be upgraded to reduce their emissions to meet India's ambitious green targets. So there are emission levels in refineries which have to be reduced, for which certain retrofitting capital expenditure is required. That is one of the purposes. The second is to adapt these refineries to be able to do blending of biofuels along with the petroleum that they already use. And the third is the building up of strategic reserves. I repeat, it is entirely capital expenditure. It is not a subsidy on petrol and diesel. Petrol and diesel subsidy, when it is given, is shown under the appropriate head. For example, in this year's revised estimates, there is a much enhanced provision for petroleum and diesel subsidy which has been given to the oil companies.
Reaction, Shah, the Asianet.
Thank you for your presentation of budget. This year I congratulate for that. And your presentation has led even your critics to appreciate some parts of the budget, including Odisha Chief Minister. Odisha Chief Minister has appreciated some of the points, like you have given thoughts to millet mission, and you have also given support to drinking water initiative, and also you have given support to this rural housing thing. But he has expressed his concerns over reduction in funds on MG energy head. Second, he has also expressed his concern over reduction in allocation for procurement of rice. And thirdly, he has also expressed his concern over reduction in these two things. He has expressed his concerns. And he has said that once you have reduced the allocation for MG energy, it will give the poor, and this reduction in allocation of funds for food procurement will hit the farmers. So what will you say on this?
No, I'm thankful that the budget has been gone through in such detail. But the fund allocation for Manrega, I've said this in the Parliament as well, has not gone down. Budget time allocation is one thing, and because the scheme itself is a demand-driven scheme, as and when the demand increases on them, we keep making the provision, and this is proven. You can check the budget of Prime Minister Modi since 2014, 14, 15, 16 till today. Every time we make an allocation during the budget estimate, and then through the year, as and when the demand goes up, we revise it. And in the supplementary demand for grants, you always see that we've added some more for Parliament to pass, and therefore fully implemented the Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. And this is in contrast with what happened between 2004 to 2014. So it is one thing to give at the beginning of the budget, and also equally important to keep responding to the developing situation in the ground, and even more important to fully implement it. I showed the contrast between the 10 years of UPA and the 8-9 years of Prime Minister Modi's government, NDA, where Manrega has been fully utilized by the end of the year. And during the COVID pandemic, you saw it even crossed 1,10,000 crores. So, to look at the budget time figure and say, oh, you brought it down, is not right. It develops as the demand develops, and we keep giving it as the demand develops, and we, end of the year, also ensure that it gets spent. So these are very clear strategies through which we go. I'm sure there are instances from states where sometimes the amount given at the beginning is already seen through, and then there are pending bills coming from them. It doesn't work out clearly. So as and when the demand comes, we sort of give. And as regards rice procurement, I think there is, as regards procurement per se, wheat or rice, we have not at all brought down the procurement. If anything, the quantum of procurement, again, in these years, these 8 years, compared to the 8 years any time prior, the quantum has gone up, and because the MSP rate is high, even the total amount given to the farmer after procurement is also very high. And even better, the MSP nowadays is directly debited or put into the account of the farmer. So no middleman can take away any money which is being given to the farmer. So actual amount procured, the price at which it is procured, without pilferage, the price reaching the farmer, total amount spent on procurement are all high now. So you can be sure that there is no coming down of these figures.
So Subhash Mohanty from the Telegraph.
Hello sir. Sir, don't you think that the allocation of budget, ma'am, don't you think that the allocation of budget around 7,200 crores for the under the Prime Minister Ayushman Yojana, whether it is adequate now?
Ayushman Bharat is also a scheme where, as and when the identity of a family is recognized and the monies are being given to them, the card is given, the number is being given to them, they get their allocation. So there is no shortfall, and in fact we can even target more and more families. The health department is quite seized of the matter.
Ma'am, don't you think that the banks are under stress due to the loan exposure to other people?
The State Bank of India actually has given its statement about how much exposure it has. You've heard it from the horse's mouth.